Right, 27 February 2021, and I'm joined by Mr. Andrew Chaponda from the United States, MDCT. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much. I'm doing very well, Mr. Gambakwe. How are you, all the listeners around the world? I'm happy to have you again, and thank you for having me back.
Okay, fantastic. And you are the Secretary General for the MDCT. Today, we want to talk a lot about what has happened over the past week in Zimbabwe. Let's start with what happened with Chebundo and Lillian Timbers. How do you see that situation that happened this week?
Thank you, Mr. Gambakwe. I don't want to usurp the powers of my SG, Douglas Monzora. I am the Secretary General of the MDC USA province. The SG still remains Douglas Monzora until his contested EOC outcome has been clarified. The past week has seen so many developments, both in Zimbabwe and within our different political parties. I am very much concerned and at the same time not surprised that there have been two senior defections from our alliance friends to ZANU-PF. Obviously, one of them had a brief stopover in MDCT, but also went on to join ZANU-PF. So what does this mean in real terms? It means that Zimbabwe is a very fluid country. Its people are very much alive to the fact that we have a constitution that guarantees freedom of association. It does not mean when one becomes a member of your party, they are members for life. That is only reserved for our families. You are born in a family, you remain that family. But for political leaders and membership, people can move freely between and among political parties. Does it always augur very well when people leave the opposition to ZANU-PF? That's a question that is subject to discussion, but by the people of Zimbabwe. I'm pretty sure the alliance people are not happy with what has happened. But on the other end, ZANU-PF are very happy that they have managed to get these two senior alliance members join them. What it also means that there's something going on in the alliance that I'm not privy to, but going by the letter that Lillian wrote, asking Wende Kutamunyare laid out a number of issues that them as a party cannot just sweep away, but want to look at to avoid future defections.
Okay, do you think it's a defection or there's more happening there?
I don't know exactly what's going on, but knowing who Miss Lillian Timvios is and her association with the very top hierarchy of the party, and also she being the Deputy Treasury General of the party, says a lot. You cannot have a Deputy Treasury of the party defecting to ZANU-PF. I don't think this was an overnight decision on her part. It must have been long in coming, and she must have told somebody in the party that there was something wrong and they failed to address those issues. We also want to give it to her that she has a right as an individual to join a part of a choice, but it means that there is something terribly wrong going on within the alliance. Hopefully they address it.
Okay, I want to address a comment here by Tafara Chiremba, who said you should have called someone in MDCA on this interview. I did call people from MDC Alliance, and they are not willing to address this topic. So I just wanted you to know, everyone in the MDC Alliance leadership is aware that I gave them an opportunity to respond and to talk about this, but they did not want to. Lillian raised a number of concerns about Chamisa, about Wende. What do you think? Do you think those are solid or those are just excuses?
Lillian, again, like I said, Ms. Timvios is not an ordinary member of the alliance. Lillian, I am told she is the original inventor of the Chete Chete slogan. She is somebody who was also the leader of the Women Brigade for Chamisa. So she is not an ordinary alliance member. She is responsible for cultivating some of the intolerance culture that we see among the alliance people. If there is a group of people who hurl insults day in, day out, it's the alliance people. I know they've got grievances, but they have surpassed everybody in terms of their violence towards women, their violence in terms of their words. They are a very intolerant bunch, and Lillian was one of the forerunners of creating that culture in the alliance. So her going away says a lot about what is going on within the alliance. And I don't want to talk about the specifics of this issue. I'm not privy to them. I can only go by what she has written, and it says it means there's a lot of bad blood in the cockpit.
How does this affect the 2023 election chances for the opposition? Is Chamisa still a serious threat to ZANU-PF?
The Supreme Court judgment did take note that Chamisa has a huge following, but having a huge following does not make it legal. That's why he was found to be offside when Supreme Court made the judgment. Both Lillian and Chebundo, they all come from the Midlands province. It's the same province where the President Mnangagwa also comes from. We don't know what's going on in the Midlands province. They may want every political party that wants to contest in 2023 better take note of this development. These are senior leaders in both Alliance and ZANU-PF coming together, and that means a lot about us going into 23 elections. It's a huge development that cannot be overlooked.
Right. The question I want to ask you next is related to that, but it's linked to the MDCT. Have you reached an agreement yourself between Senator Douglas Monzora and Dr. Kupe?
A week is a long time in politics, and I think the week began with my Secretary General Douglas Monzora through his spokesperson saying that Dr. Kupe had acknowledged him as the president of the MDCT. Nothing could be further from the truth, because no sooner had he said that, Dr. Kupe through a tweet rubbished that concept that she had come out and endorsed Douglas Monzora. We also know that she also had met Douglas Monzora and clearly laid out the issues that cannot bring her to accept him as the leader of the party. First among those was that the EOC itself is a contested event, and therefore there's no leader that emerged from the EOC. We have seen that there have been attempts by Monzora and his hangers-on to portray what happened at the EOC as a foregone conclusion. That cannot be far from the truth. Dr. Kupe, I don't speak for her, but I also read what she said, and I'm in agreement. We are in agreement as the MDC USA that what happened at the EOC is still very much subject to contestation. And the violence that happened there, the incorrect Congress that happened there, the use of illegal people that happened there, the bashing of Nobile Moyo that happened, let alone to Kupe herself, are all issues that are still to be resolved. I want to tell you also, Mr. Gambakwe, that we have not even heard from the Independent Electoral Monitoring Body. There's been no report now since the EOC occurred, because within the IEB itself, there is no agreement whether what happened on that day was legal or not. We only know that on the day, on the 27th of December, Monzora, in his acceptance speech of the illegal event, went on to thank the IEB for electing him. This is actually on video that he said, I want to thank you for electing me. He did not thank the delegates. So there's something going on, and I can say that Kupe, I think she's in a right position to deny that the EOC produced a substantive leader for the MDCT.
Okay, so the MDCT has got problems. The
Serious
MDC
problem.
Alliance have got problems. Both MDCs have got problems. Don't you think that's why people like Timvias, Chebundo decided to just go to ZANU-PF, because the opposition is a non-starter?
We have a problem in Zimbabwe in both the ruling party and in the opposition, in that they want to be a mirror reflection of each other. We had a problem with Chamisa usurping power at the death of Changirai to declare himself president. We now have a problem with Douglas Monzora having a Stockholm syndrome. He has been a victim of both cheating during 2014 and also during his days in the alliance. Now he's justifying his own cheating because he has been a victim of cheating before. Where this comes from also speaks to why we have now defections. People are now saying these opposition parties are no better than ZANU-PF. I want to say this. If we as opposition parties are not there for the people, we need to have our focus on what is good for the people of Zimbabwe. The people of Zimbabwe have suffered long enough that whatever all leaders should be doing should be trying to uplift the standard of living of our people. It's not happening. We have seen people who themselves have become very rich overnight, and yet the people have become poor. So there's something with our leaders that the people of Zimbabwe should say, we don't want that to happen anymore. The people should be in charge of their lives. We have created leaders that are thieves, leaders that don't respect the constitution, leaders that abuse people left, right, and center, and yet the standard of living of our people continues to degrade. So we don't want this, and I am saying, fellow Zimbabweans, time has come that we do not hero worship our leaders, but we demand of them to do what is right for us. What brings food to our tables, what brings justice to those who violate our rights. So we need a movement of Zimbabweans across political divide to say our leaders should be accountable to us and our leaders should do what is good by us. This is not happening now, and we see now leaders go where they think they can get the most money. If she can't get money because Wende is pocketing all the money, she probably can get money from ZANU-PF. So it's not about the people, it's about what is good for our leaders. And this has to stop.
Okay. Now let's go to, I think the question that I asked has not been completely addressed.
Yeah.
Tivias did not even bother to come to MDCT. Don't you think that means she doesn't see a difference between MDC Alliance and MDCT in terms of the confusion?
I take it MDC Alliance and MDCT are brothers in the same family that are just arguing over the inheritance that is in the family. So yes, we have these two parties who are built on the same ideological foundation, but just not agreeing on who should be the leader. In my last interview, I said the confusion that Monzora is brought by wanting to be a wannabe little Chamisa, also stealing the leadership from the people, can also be used as an opportunity to bring the party together. Tivias skipping over MDCT to ZANU-PF, whereas Chebundo had a 1-month stay over in ZANU-PF on his way to ZANU-PF, are serious indictments on the party. We want to have an opposition party that solidifies all the people, that speaks for the people, and also is not a mere reflection of ZANU-PF. But the problem that we see now is what is good for their stomachs. I may understand she may have driven cars since she was 2 years old, but the fact that she's in ZANU-PF cannot make a fighter for the people, because ZANU-PF is the cause of our problems. How she thinks now she can go there and change them in the next 2.5 years before elections beats me. But I want to say that I think what she did was selfish, and what she did was also short-sighted, and what she did also may end up not being in the best interest for the people of the Midlands and indeed for the rest of Zimbabwe.
Is it not possible that these people were spies in the MDC?
I was 17 years old in 1980. At independence, that's how old I am. Tivias and Chebundo were probably in the same category. So at some point we were all ZANU-PF. It's very important. I gave them my vote, my first vote, 85. I voted for ZANU-PF. It's a vote that I don't regret, because it was a vote that was for the time. So for them now, and given the number of years that have occurred, we have always known that MDC has always been a target of ZANU-PF in terms of destabilizing it, because MDC itself has not been very firm. We are a social democratic party, a party built on the constitution, but we find ourselves time and again wanting to be like ZANU-PF and forgetting what we are built on. So that opens us to infiltration by people who come to destabilize the party. We quickly promote them. We forget that somebody has to be 5 years or more in the party. The people just come in and suddenly they are in in the leadership of the party. This weakens the party and it opens up to infiltration. And when we see such movements, we always go and conclude that, oh yeah, these were ZANU-PF spies that were there already. But I think even any good spy, if they are really shown that this is what is good for the people, they may have a second thought. But if we are just like them, so nothing can stop them from going back. And this is what has happened. But I'm not saying Chebundo or Otimvias were spies. But I think over the years, we've known that MDC has always been ripe for infiltration because we don't stick to our values. We are valueless people. And then as a result, everybody comes as long as either they are good looking or they've got more money to give to the leadership.
Okay, let's look at Chebundo.
Yes.
My understanding is that Chebundo contested Mnangagwa.
Yes.
And almost Mnangagwa unleashed yes. the worst violence on Chebundo, yes. including the death of his young brother, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And the rape of his wife.
Yes.
Why would such a person join ZANU-PF?
That is the $100 million question. What is Chebundo seen in a guy that almost killed him? And also, I hear the MDCT and Alliance people who were guarding his home at the time are flabbergasted. They don't know what's going on. But I want to say if Chebundo really likes Zimbabwe, if Chebundo is made this move because he wants to bring about change by working within ZANU-PF, good for him. But if Chebundo is going to ZANU-PF because he now thinks they are the ones who can give him material things. Remember, Chebundo just lost a primary to one of the little MDC Alliance people for that Kwekwe primary. So he had also lost his glamour. He was no longer the favorite within the party. But people like Chebundo, because they have been supporting the party financially and materially, just like Lydian Timvios. These people, they feel entitled that they own the party. This is what makes the parties vulnerable to infiltration because it wants people with money and put them in positions without actually knowing if they are with them or not. I'm sorry for his loss, Chebundo, during those dark days, but I think he has made a calculation that is better served in ZANU-PF. And that is a decision that he has to live with for the rest of his life.
Okay. My understanding is that there are more people from Chamisa's party who are going to be joining ZANU-PF. What would be the impact of this if that was to happen on your party? Because people are not coming to MDCT. They are not seeing value in coming to MDCT.
I parted ways with Alliance on February 18, 2018, the moment that they thought they could do the illegal thing and go away. I am only talking on my own behalf of what I'm seeing and reading what is going on. We would love everybody. The Supreme Court judgment of March 30, 2020 gave us a wonderful opportunity to say the Gweru Congress was illegal. The Ascot Congress was illegal. You guys come back and become one party again. That opportunity was missed, and that opportunity could still be revived and be made to work. So, but the fact that people are skipping over Alliance, who would want to be in an MDCT where Douglas Monzora is running around proclaiming himself a leader when we all know what happened on 27 December 2020 to be shambolic. So no one wants to be part of this chaos. No one wants a reflection of the same parties coming away from where the Alliance, I don't want to talk much about them because they do their own stuff in a different way. But I wish if MDCT had an opportunity to go and have a proper EOC that would have attracted people to say, here is the party that Morgan Tsvangirai left. Here is the party that is the Social Democratic Party. Here is a party that follows its own rules. I think we want to give it a chance. I said before, Douglas could have an equal chance of winning that. Why he chooses to go and do illegal things when he himself in 2014 was left for dead politically after Chamisa's scientific organizing gave him 8 provinces for 0. And all that was cooked, but he comes back up again and he does the same thing. Goes to Epworth, hires thugs. They all camp at Harvest House for 2 months in December. He does all these things. Don't forget to ask me about the money. There's something that he has to account for. We still want the police to arrest him for misusing party funds.
Okay. I think, Mr. Andrew Chaponda, we have covered this topic very, very nicely. It's a Saturday, and most of us are coming to church or going to church tomorrow. Let's wrap this up.
Yes.
MDC Alliance is in shambles. MDCT is in shambles. What should happen now?
Before I answer that, I just want the listeners to know that we were told at some point that Douglas Monzora was the Secretary General of the MDCT prior to the EOC, and therefore he had the right to do whatever he wanted with the money. We also know Douglas Monzora was the first to run and publish that Dr. Tozano Kupe was going to send a letter exonerating him from stealing the money, the $30,000. We also want him now that he is being accused of stealing the money to come out and exonerate himself for stealing that money. We are now into second month. We want to know how the money was applied, who were the vendors, who was paid what, so that the party is up and about. We are tired of this thing that says you cannot sue the party because you are not the president or member of the standing committee. The standing committee itself is not doing what is right by the people. So we are saying every member of the party has a right to ask these important questions so that the party is kept on the straight and narrow. We have guardrails, which is our constitution. We have guardrails, which is our policies and procedures. They're not being followed. And they dare tell us that you cannot ask, you cannot go to court, you cannot go to the police because you are not in the standing committee. I digressed a little bit, but I want to tell you at the end that yes, the people of Zimbabwe are ripe for change. There's a lot of pent-up energy among Zimbabweans. They are just missing leadership. We have such a very poor leadership in Zimbabwe that the people who want to support political parties are finding it impossible to do because they don't be associated with thieves and people who are crooked, who can't even follow their own constitutions. So we are saying that it's right for people of Zimbabwe, both in the diaspora and in Zimbabwe, to choose leadership that really thinks about them and not think about themselves. And there are people in the diaspora who have made it huge. There are people in Zimbabwe who have made it, but can no longer be in politics because it has been so soiled by these leaders who cannot actually follow their own constitutions. So please, Zimbabweans, we can be our own saviors. We don't want to keep on saying chere chere when the people are failing to provide leadership, especially now that we have sanctions. But when are we marching? When are we marching? Sanctions are there to make people really mad. People are mad already. Why are we not marching towards the State House if that is the purpose of sanctions? So we want leaders who can take us to the next step, not leaders who are only good on the tweet, who are only good on saying things on Facebook. We want real leaders who have the people's interest at heart. People who are in love with people, not in love with money. People who are in love with justice, not those who are in love with Twitter. This is where we want to go, and that's what I'm saying today.
Okay, so let's go step by step.
Yes.
The court case is not filed yet because the courts are not open.
Yes.
So will Dr. Kupe continue to attend the standing committee meetings, National Council? What is going to happen?
I wish I could speak for her or know a program. I don't know whether she's attended any of those meetings. I'm told she may not. I don't know. Maybe Pugen can come and clarify that. But what I know that is she cannot be attending meetings being chaired by someone who is illegal. Any meeting of the MDC after being gavelled and prayers are said and all the small talk should address the legality of the leadership. So if you cannot address that, then there's no other meeting that should take place. Because if you sit in a meeting that does not resolve the leadership issues and talk about other issues, then you are validating the position of those leaders. So I hear what Dr. Kupe said in the meeting with Douglas Monzora was that we need to clarify what happened on the 27th of December. So in that meeting, she said she did not recognize Monzora as a leader, but Monzora himself had gone on to say she did. This is the second time. You should be very careful with this guy. They said that my good Bebe had agreed to come back Pepe said he did not. Monzora comes said Kupe has agreed. Kupe is not. So you see there's a pattern of deception here among these people that they are trying to pull a wool over the people. Thank God those people are not coming there. They also said, I don't know about the other one, Tabita, whether she will come back or not, but we are seeing a pattern of deception. Monzora, who is also called Sekuru Nando, he cannot be his own cleaner of dirt in public. He needs to write in his own name, not to use Nom Dugure. We are not in a war here. We're in a guerrilla war. Come out and say, I, Monzora, I am actually disputing what you are saying for these reasons, not to use Nom Dugures for things like that. So we don't want that, and we think that, rigging cannot be allowed to continue, both in the MDCT alliance and indeed in the Zimbabwean plebiscite. Okay,
what if she loses in court?
Yes.
And the court finds that Monzora was legally elected. Is she going to step down?
The court case is a court case being funded and directed by the MDCT USA. Kupe herself will be cited as one of the people who violated the constitution of the party. We are not suing Monzora here. We are saying the MDC EOC did not rise to the occasion which was demanded by the Supreme Court judgment. So whoever took part in there also violated the MDC constitution. So if she decides to accept Monzora as a leader after the court has said Monzora is there, I think at that point all of us we have to look at our positions. I always say this is like the Bible. You gotta follow the commandments, and you gotta live by faith. And then we have our constitution, and we go by what the court says. But in the meantime, Monzora can continue to masquerade as the MDC president, steal the money, and again, there's another $29 million coming from the same port. We are giving money to a person who is not accounted for the money that he allegedly stole. He has not come out and said, this is how I use the money. We wanted transparency. Maybe he didn't steal the money. Just like the letter Kupe wrote to say nothing was on board. We want to see who were the vendors, how much was collected. You cannot keep telling us that these days there's some closed dark room where things are being done with the People's Party. This is the People's Party. The people want to know. And this is the money given because they were MPs who are in parliament. Everybody wants to know what's going on. So if Kupe comes back after the court says Monzora was properly elected, then I think all of us, we may be able to hold our noses and circle our wagons and move on as a party. But not until that is done. He is not our president. He's not my president. He's probably not Kupe's president as well.
Okay, Mr. Andrew Chaponda, MDCT USA Secretary General. You have said a lot about the situation in the MDC Alliance and in the MDCT, and also the decision by Timvias and Chebundo to go into ZANU-PF. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
Yes, my only final word I want to say to Zimbabweans is that we may all come from different political parties. We support different political parties. Let's support the constitution of our parties. Let's dial down on the violence of the language and the hate for women that we see on our social forum. We want to engage in proper dialogue. We want to have people coming from different political persuasions and come together and say what is good for the people, what is good for our party. My fellow Zimbabweans, our party and our country is in our hands. We should not continue to allow these few people, to do what they want with our country for so long. We have suffered enough. We have been away for so long, and we need our country to have all its diaspora children to come back and make Zimbabwe great again. And the time begins with you and me.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Very well said. And I hope that Senator Monzora is listening, and he will try to resolve this problem, because I tend to feel that the opposition in Zimbabwe, MDC Alliance and MDCT, are actually now worse of the problem than ZANU-PF. I think a person that is looking at the situation is just giving up on you guys, on the opposition. I don't think you are proud of what is happening yourself.
No, we are not.
Yes, so it's very sad that people that are wanting to support the opposition, they are left with no choice but to just step back.
Yeah, when good people decide to disengage from politics, evil triumphs. That's where we are now. We are being run by evil because good people have decided to roll back and just let this chaos continue. For how long can it go? There are people who have been born now almost 40 years. We have never held a pay stub in their hands. That's not good for the country. That's not good for anybody. It's a travesty, and it's one perpetuated by our leaders, because they cannot come together and say what is good for the country. What is good for the country is what we need to put forward, even if it means meeting with the devil. As long as it's supposed to be good for the country, let's meet the devil head on.
Okay, and you're saying Monzora is now worse than Chamisa.
The two are Siamese twins. They are all products of an illegal attempt to capture power within the MDC, the People's Movement. So in terms of gradation, maybe 90, they are with only one point difference. It's a non-difference. They are all the same.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chaponda. And people who want to contact you, your number is on the screen. I think it's an opportunity for people that really want change, because yes. I don't see any vested interest in you. You don't want to become the president.
No, nor a senator, nor a minister. No, I don't. I just want my country to do well. I have my people there who are suffering there,
Yes, like most of us, most of the people here in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, they want Zimbabwe to do well. Yeah. We are fed up of staying here in this country.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you so much. Continue to highlight the issues that are affecting us.
Thank you very much, sir. And we'll talk again next week. I'll try to bring here Mr. Kalipani Pugeni, and if we don't get hold of him, we'll try to get someone else to come and talk to us. We want to hear the exact position from Dr. Kupe, and unfortunately, Mr. Pugeni has been unavailable. As you know, he had a bit of COVID over the past few months, and I'm sure he's still recovering.
Yes. Thank you so much for wishing him well.
Thank you very much, and good night to everyone who's watching us from YouTube and Facebook.
Thank you, Zimbabwe.